Yes, hello everyone. How are we? I know the answer to that. Amazing, Asim. What a day.
Honestly, still on cloud nine. Still on cloud nine. I was saying to you as we were walking up, the buzz outside as well just now. That was pretty much perfection, wasn't it? Pretty much perfection.
We do these videos, and I'd say this after every victory over them, but we like to have stuff we're going to say. This is, again, just going to be a massive blur because that 90 minutes is a massive blur. What I do know, Asim, is that Celtic were incredible. I mean, the whole afternoon was incredible.
Yeah.
I think we have that 3-0 game last year as a barometer
Yes.
of amazingness. And I don't know if Celtic even beat that today.
I said to my dad, back when Abada scored that third in February, I thought that was like I could not be eclipsed. Honestly, that euphoria that night, and I was like, that can't be eclipsed. See, when he scored that third today, that was up there, if not better, because like you said, I think we all predicted a tight game, but to be 3-0 up, flying, the whole atmosphere, like you said, pre-game, I thought it was just incredible.
Yeah.
And when that third went in, it was rocking. And I think, did Ryan 118 say yesterday?
Don't give him
Piling
any
on the
credit.
agony at half-time, and it was bang on.
Genuinely though, everything like he said and everything so many people said kind of came to fruition today. I mean, a lot of people will look at that score and be pretty surprised, and listen, we're euphoric, but if you are totally surprised at that scoreline today, you have not been paying attention for the last year, because this is what Celtic have been doing, and a scoreline like this was always in the offing. We'll go back to the starting lineup. The big call, you know, is that Ange makes, the incredible call in hindsight to start Abada ahead of Maida. I wouldn't say eyebrows were raised because I think we've all got total, you know, trust in Ange. But he starts Abada and Abada scores a couple of goals. It's just, I mean, back post Abada.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was, like you said, the one that everyone was kind of discussing as to the lineup. Everything else seemed pretty nailed on. And everyone was kind of in agreement that whatever way he went, we'd be pretty happy. I predicted last night that he would go with Abada purely just for Jota on the left. Okay. Similarly, I think Ryan yesterday that he said so. I was happy with it, but I would have been happy regardless. And every decision he makes, it just seems to come off. Abada, that first half was incredible. It
wasn't just the goals either. Like
his
play, like he tore Barisic to pieces on several occasions.
100%. And that's the thing with Abada. Usually, like you said, he's got the end product, the goals, but sometimes you're a bit frustrated with his build-up play, and his decision making was that bang on. Everything he did was just everything the whole team did in that first half.
We just run through the entire team, because genuinely you could go through all of them. Who did, you know, spring out from that first half apart from Abada?
Matt O'Reilly.
Unbelievable.
I thought him and Hatate both, but Matt O'Reilly, was it 3 assists for him? The pass for Joe. Like you said, this is going to be a kind of jumbled up blur, but Matt O'Reilly for me stood out massively. The whole team, but his class, he's continued to impress even more when obviously there's been a lot of chat about him, but he just gets better and better. Like another 3 assists today on top of last week's performance. I thought Hatate strolled it. I thought he was brilliant as well.
The amount of passes he had into space. But I mean, the thing I liked about O'Reilly was he was winning the ball back. He was a real presence. The amount of times he was getting the ball into feet and holding players off. I feel like in the you know, the last 2 derbies of last season, we didn't have that at all. 100%. You know, Tom Rogic, love him, but at times, you know, when they were pushing on to him, we didn't really have an out ball. Today, you know, O'Reilly was brilliant. Hatate was keeping the ball. Yakimakis, who obviously comes on after a few minutes after the Kyogo injury. I don't know what you were thinking at that stage.
I'll be honest, I was a bit worried, not in terms of the overall game, but the mood and the atmosphere is so good at the start, and then you have that, and it's our talisman, and he's going off straight away, and naturally there's a bit of a lull, and you're worried, okay, does this change our game plan, because they're 2 completely different players as well. So I was a bit concerned, but for us, we just the energy and the way we reacted to that just says a lot. And just to touch on Matt O'Reilly, I think because he's such a baller and he's so technically good, you forget he actually uses his strength quite well, and that's what I noticed today. He's winning the ball back. He's tackling. He's really good at tackling and nicking that ball. He's just getting better and better. But that midfield three, everyone, like you said, we could go through them all. But in terms of standouts for me, Matt O'Reilly was probably my man of the match.
We'll work our way through the goals then.
Goal
number 1, again, going to be a massive blur. I think we take a quick throw in. Someone, I think Greg Taylor maybe puts it across, and Abada's at the back post. I mean, the goalkeeper who, you know, can we have a minute's silence for John McLaughlin today, because that was unbelievable. But that first goal is just everything that Ange loves in his teams. It's players following the ball in at the back post.
How often are we doing things from quick throw-ins and free kicks? So the second was the quick free kick from Callum as well. But it was Greg Taylor with the throw-in, if you remember, in the 3-0 game back in February. Throw-in down the left, Hatate into Abada. So it's very similar. I think it was O'Reilly again who managed to keep it in from quite like a tight angle. The ball looked like it was going out, and then obviously Abada just doing what Abada does, just gets into those right positions, and you just the place exploded, and you're just like, this could be one of those games again, because that early goal makes such a difference, doesn't it?
It did have that feeling. I mean, I've not seen a goal celebrated at Celtic Park like that in a long time, and even just going back, 15 minutes prior, I thought the atmosphere in the lead up to the game was incredible. They had Liam McGrandles on before the game with a Joe medley of songs, and I just thought that set the tone, and the way Celtic started and getting that early goal, was so deserved. I mean, the pressure we put on them from the start, and then I felt we dropped a little bit at 1-0 up. We really had them, where we wanted them, and I felt we kind of let them back into the game a little bit. They didn't create anything. I think they maybe had one cross that I think maybe Cholak puts kind of quite wide, but apart from that, they didn't create anything. But I just felt we were letting them control the game a little bit. I think it was about the 20-25
minute mark. I said the exact same thing to my dad, and he was like, nah, it's fine. But I just felt like we were letting them maybe just get up the pitch a wee bit too much. Like you said, they didn't create anything, but just giving them a few chances to get crosses in.
Was that part of the game plan though? Because I felt at times we were almost inviting us onto them, and then you look at the second goal. I mean, that's a counter-attack goal.
A lot of our chances, and like the amount of times we caught them on the counter, was nicking it quickly and playing that quick through incisive pass. So potentially that could have been the ploy, because there was a wee spell where we were letting them come in, but you didn't feel that our threat lessened at that point. I felt we were still as likely to score. It just felt that obviously they had a bit more possession. Yeah, but the amount of times that we were just playing that incisive pass today, and like the passing out from the back, we're getting better at it. You can see it. A couple of hairy moments, obviously, but there's the amount of times that you're worried about it, and then they just find an angle. The amount of times we're making good angles off the ball now. Greg Taylor's brilliant for it, and then even after that, Hatate's dropping into midfield. It's just so good to watch, because you can see it evolve, you can see the progression over time, and I thought they just couldn't live with us. They just could not live with us.
It looks really easy when we're doing that and playing out from the back. Joe Hart's getting at the two centre backs are splitting, and very often it's just a ball to Starfelt or Carter Vickers out to the full back and then into like a Hatate or someone. And I just felt like we just had so much space today to do that. The second goal, I mean, the best chip in a derby since Larsson. It's such a Larsson-esque finish from Jota. I mean, the ball from O'Reilly is brilliant. To see the ball first of all, then to pull the pass off. The first touch is, immaculate. And the finish is out of this world.
All three bits of play, I thought Callum does that so well. The quick free kick, I think that's such a feature of our play now. We catch teams off guard by doing everything so quick. So it was a quick ball through, and then O'Reilly's pass, sublime, and then the finish, and then the celebration as well. Jota going over it was just, I tweeted there, it was one of my favourite kind of derby goals in recent times, because it was just like every bit of it was just perfect, and then 2-0 up and the place went wild again. So
it was almost like Abada's goal last week with the against Dundee United, the dink over the keeper. It was just,
and I think they knew they were beat at that point. I think that's,
do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I didn't ever feel at 2 or 3 that they were going to get back in it. I just felt we were just so superior in every department. And that's not like me, because normally you'd still even be like a wee bit worried a goal when they're back in the game, but I just felt we bossed them, and I don't think we're just a better football team. And I'll be honest, going into the game, I was quite intrigued how we would get on in this game, because other than that 3-0 one, they've all been tight games. The following 3 last season, you could argue they maybe had the better, and obviously in one of them in the cup, but even the other 2, we didn't really play our best football. So I was intrigued to see, okay, what have we learnt from those? How are we going to change that? It was pretty much a similar lineup to the one that we had in the one each game towards the end of last season, and I just thought we dealt with everything so perfectly. You can see how much the team's evolved from last season, and it's just
it's that work in the training ground, isn't it? It's that work in the training ground that we all hoped would pay off, and I agree totally with what you said about 5 minutes ago. Us playing out from the back, we are better than we've ever been playing out from the back. Like, you no longer really feel massively in doubt at all, and it just looks so simple, and so many times today it happened.
And it's not for the sake of it. I've seen us, like in the past, you have players and you tell players who are maybe not used to doing that to play a certain way that they're not used to, and it just looks awkward. And it's just 2 or 3 passes, it ends up going back to keeper and you launch it. Whereas now I feel there's always a purpose behind every pass. There's always an angle, there's always someone dropping short, and the amount of times then we create a chance from it or get into the final third, you can just see that as Ange football working at, that's it really, really coming to fruition.
But equally, when the pressure was on at times today, I felt we didn't mess about with it at the back. Joe Hart put it long on occasion, and Giakoumakis won his fair share. There was actually quite a few times when there was one in the second half when he was actually moaning at Abada for not running in behind, because Giakoumakis, I thought he bullied Goldson today, he bullied Sands today, and going forward, I just think Giakoumakis is so effective against Rangers, and the next time we play Rangers, I think I want Giakoumakis starting, because he was brilliant. But we can cross that bridge. Third goal. I'm trying to remember. I know it was Abada.
It was Abada. I think it came from the left side again.
Someone tell us, what was the third goal like?
Came from the left side, and he hit it first time volley. I think it
was a shot low through the keeper's legs. What a finish.
And again, it was just wild scenes with it. And it's just Abada doing about, like, he just loved, you get some players who just, they're made for a certain fixture, and that's again that he's just absolutely tormented them and tormented Barisic down that side. And so happy for him, because he's bided his time this season, and it just shows you the strength of the squad right now. That Kyogo's going off injured, you've got Maeda taking out the team today, but the guys just coming in are equally as good or effective, if not more.
Second half, well, first of all, half time. What are you thinking? I mean, for me personally,
best players for Madrid.
for me, it was looking back at the last derby, which was amazing, but it was, let's go and win this by more than 3. Let's not let them back into it. And I think in the second half there was an element of us of staying deeper, but I think we carried more of a threat today than that game in February in the second half. I always felt today, a bit like the first half, like as much as they had a lot of the possession, and again they didn't create a lot, we always looked really threatening in the counter attack. The fourth goal comes out of nowhere. I mean,
I didn't even see what happened.
I was looking away, and I just looked up, and I think it's David Turnbull puts it in. But I've seen the replay, and it was something I'd been hinting at all week. I've been saying press this team high, because I've seen them in Europe. They are not confident passing out from the back, and a team like Celtic who were just so ruthless today in front of goal, and that fourth goal is just amazing. 4-0.
I'm so glad we got the fourth, because I didn't want a repeat of, like, we're sounding like we're not happy with 3, but I thought you're spot on. In the 3-0 game back in February, I don't think we looked like scoring too much in that second half. It kind of just petered out. Whereas today, I thought we were always a threat, and you always felt once that fourth goes in, we could go on again. So I'm glad we got the fourth. We had another couple of wee half chances as well, and I thought it summed it up. Like you said, the pressing, they're not comfortable with it, and I'm glad that we played that way, because I often watch teams against them and I'm like, you need to go at them, and I felt that that's where we absolutely nailed it today, and I thought we just had the better of them in every department, and it was an absolute dream, really. You could not have asked for more.
We just looked so threatening today. You run your way through the team. Joe Hart doesn't have much to do. He makes a really good save in stoppage time. I think it was Callum McGregor kind of into his own goal, and Hart dives across and makes a good save. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered much at that stage, but 4-0 sounds better than 4-1. I thought Juranovic, really came on to a great game in the second half. Carter Vickers was, immense today. He had one in the second half, I don't know if you remember, late on, where the ball's kind of flighted over to the right hand channel. He's got a Rangers player behind him, and the first touch to control the ball and play it back out to Juranovic was brilliant. And it was that kind of incessant pressure today that Rangers couldn't deal with. The amount of quick corners we took, I even said it in lead up to the game, that's what I wanted to see, because I knew that in that atmosphere they wouldn't be able to deal with that, and it played out. You work your way up the team. Greg Taylor was just brilliant. I mean, what a player he's turning into for us. The tenacity in that player, but the quality as well. The midfield, McGregor was brilliant.
Jota, we touched on Jota now.
Jota was just immense. I mean, the amount of times he would get the ball under pressure and be able to wriggle free from a player, it's a hell of a team that Ange is building.
We just look so fit as well. In the past, you watch Celtic or you watch them in Europe, and you look at these other teams, and you're like we look like a relentless machine right now. And I'm just so excited just to see how we get on in the next coming weeks as well in Europe, because we just look so fit, and that's the beauty of the squad right now. You've got players that can just come in after the 60-70 minute mark, and the performance doesn't drop. I thought Turnbull, when he came on,
Jens,
he was about 2 or 3 kind of really, really good challenges or blocks he made. And
I think I loved the first thing he did when he came on was gave Morelos a nudge.
I know. So
Moy was great.
Moy was great again when he came on. A couple of crucial passes when there was a short ball for him. Maeda, that run down the left where Goldson just chops him down. How's that not a red card?
The referees.
I love to see that though, because how raging are they? How raging were they?
I mean, for me, the referee's got Lundstrom in his mind, but that was miles worse than Lundstrom. I mean, that was just so obviously not going for the ball, and it was just
reckless.
We knew a challenge like that was going to come, and I actually thought for a 4-0 win, I thought the ref had a really poor game. I thought there was a lot of really strange decisions today.
My dad said the same, and obviously when you win 4-0, you don't know, it's overly scrutinised, but there's a lot of strange ones where not giving bookings or just general stuff like that. No kind of major game changing decisions, but stuff that can still change the flow of a game. But that challenge just summed them up. Like they have, in terms of football, we're just such a better football team, and their normal game plan is to make it bitty and kind of make it a scrappy game.
And it wasn't like that.
And when it's not like that, you see the results, you see the difference.
I mean, there's obviously an element of bias when it comes to us, but you see a performance like that, and there is a gulf between the teams. I mean, from game to game, if you're later in the season, we're obviously not going to win every game 4-0 against them, but I honestly think this Celtic team is only going to improve, and I think what that does psychologically for them today is huge. A newly assembled Rangers team kind of, and to go to Celtic Park and to lose like that. I mean, it was 4 and we could have scored more goals. We're 5 points clear now. That's the big picture.
Goal difference is 17 ahead, so that is,
I think it's 19. I think we were 11 before today, so. And I don't see us dropping too many points anywhere.
No.
I just think it's magic, and the point you made, it just sets up Tuesday night so well, because we've got Real Madrid coming to town. I mean, who knows how that'll go, but you couldn't be going into that game in a better place.
And that game will take care of itself regardless of today. But
pressure's almost off.
You didn't want to go into that game on the back of a defeat or even a draw. It would have but to go on with a 4-0 victory and performance like that, the players will be absolutely buzzing with confidence. The atmosphere is going to be electric, as we know. It's just, like you say, it's nothing to lose. I think we can just go out there and just play the way we want to play and see what happens. And I wouldn't put it past us to give them a fright. And to touch on your point, you're right, more than just the 5 points in the goal difference psychologically.
17, by the way, I should apologise, you were right.
Psychologically for them, that's them came here again and absolutely just bottled it. And I'm listening to the radio on the way in, and the fans are already, putting the pressure on them, on Gio. So it's just a brilliant time. And you're right, I think the gulf is there, but today really showed it, and I think we'll just continue to get better.
That's the thing, the team are just going to keep going from here. Today isn't going to be any sort of, mission accomplished. I certainly don't think that, because Ange's going to keep challenging the team for games to come. Should say, by the way, I said their pressure is off on Tuesday. I kind of mean from a fan's point of view, today was your bread and butter, a huge game. If we do lose to Real Madrid on Tuesday, I don't think anybody's going to be, too angry about it. I think for Ange, the pressure's not going to be off at all. The team are going to want to go and beat Real Madrid, and that's what we love about him. So I should just, qualify that. Ange is not going to see the pressure's been off at all. I just mean from a supporter's point of view, 5 points clear now. Today was the huge one. Real Madrid, in many ways, from a supporter's point of view, is kind of a bonus. I mean, if we beat Real Madrid, it'll be incredible. But
there's just no better way to go into it, though. There's such a feel good around the fans and the players, and obviously we've said that the transfer window was as good as it's been for a long time. The squad looks as strong as it's been since I can remember, and there's been a bit of debate, even stronger than maybe Martin O'Neill's, because he had such a core group of players, but maybe not the depth. Right now, I look at this squad and the test will come, but today was a test. That's a Champions League team we're playing. I thought we made them look bang average, but we've watched them play other teams, and we're always getting frustrated that we're getting frustrated, that their teams aren't really making them look average, yet we've shown how it's done.
I think that's a good point. I mean, that's what I said at the start. Anyone totally surprised by that scoreline hasn't been paying attention
to what we do. People.
And them. I honestly think there's a gulf between the teams, and that's what we've all kind of felt that, but equally, I did think it would be tighter than that. I
predicted 2-1. I thought that it would be tight. I do think we're the better team, but it's rare that you get games 3 and 4-0 against them these days. And I thought that was a fair reflection of where we're at. And it's I just think we'll continue to improve. And obviously, I cannot wait for Tuesday, because I think, again, you just wouldn't put it past this group to pull off something special. It's just going to be a hell of a night, isn't it?
Put it this way, it's going to take a big Real Madrid performance to beat us if we put in that kind of display.
Has there been any word on Kyogo?
No, I'm not. No. I'm not sure. I'm assuming Ange will have been asked about it. Did you see him falling over in the post-match celebrations? Joe Hart actually kind of ran over and was a bit worried.
Right, but he seemed in good spirits.
Yeah, he was smiling.
You'd ideally want him in for that. I think that would be a perfect kind of game for him. But Giakoumakis just comes in and delivers again. Different kind of player, obviously. But it's just, I'm just so happy with where we're at as a squad. That was without Haksabanovic even getting on, who looks brilliant in his short cameo as well. So the options there right now are frightening, and it's just we've got so much to look forward to, haven't we?
Have we done enough laughing at Rangers? No, I don't think we have. Morelos, the size of that guy.
What's he doing? I still thought he was more of a handful than Čolak, which is saying something because Morelos did nothing.
I think Čolak was playing, was he?
I think that's it, and like without talking about them too much.
No.
They're not very good.
Ryan Kent.
Ryan Kent, honestly, that myth needs to stop now. He's like, he wishes he was a badder. Honestly, the difference in their contributions in terms of assists and goals is unreal. Nevada's 19, 20, just turned 20. Lundstrom,
did a bit of staring apparently.
So
Tavernier.
Honestly, we could go through all of their guys. It was just the perfect combination of us being absolutely brilliant and them basically being shown for being a pretty bang average team.
What was your highlight if you put it down to one moment?
The second goal for me, just the quality of the goal. Obviously, when the third goes in, it's extra scenes because it's pretty much game over. The quality of that second goal, and just Joe, as soon as it went in, I was just looking around at my dad and I'm like, wow, that was special. So the second goal for me. What about you?
Fourth for me, and looking at the Rangers fans
and
seeing them all running out the exits after that fourth goal. I think some of them left at half time.
The thing is, they came in with such confidence. I don't know where they get it from, but they just assumed the way they play in Europe. But they've not, like, when we're like that, it's a different animal.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Just magic, and Ange Postecoglou, who we've barely mentioned. I mean, this guy is to me already a Celtic legend, and I think he's only going to grow in stature. I mean, not going to make any major predictions, but I just think he's going to keep going, keep improving this team. And I mean, I just think something special is happening here. We've known that for a while. I don't know what special means. I don't know if it means a run in Europe. I don't know if it means winning the treble. I don't know where the ceiling is for this team, but what I do know is we're going to have more days like today, because that team, the scary thing is that team can play even better and can improve, and we're going to have so many players. Hatate's going to get better, O'Reilly's going to get better, Jota. We're going to have Kyogo in these games in times to come. It's Abada's going to get better.
Got the new Danish
he gets paraded at half time, so it's actually quite scary considering how good this Celtic team could be, and hopefully, just hopefully Champions League, we do ourselves justice.
That's the thing now. Like we've seen what we're capable of domestically, and I think that will continue to improve. We've now had two pretty gubbings of them. Yeah. We've won at Ibrox. Now let's see something in Europe, and I'm confident that we will. It might not be Tuesday, but I don't think it'll be I don't think it'll be one of those games where we
don't turn up. I think if Real beat us, it's Benzema or something like that.
A bit of quality, But I think in terms of just where we're at as a club, I can't remember, even under Rodgers, we weren't up against much domestically, like in the 5-1 game against them, as much as it was brilliant in the 5-1 at Ibrox as well. To me, that's more satisfaction today, because we're playing against a Champions League team, we're playing against a team that went to a Europa League final last season, and we're just washing them away. So this is as strong as it's been for a long time, and Europe is a test now, but I genuinely wouldn't put it past us to pull something out of the bag on Tuesday night as well.
Magic. I can't wait for already. Right, we'll get through some of your comments. We picked out 6. Thanks everyone for watching live and afterwards. We've got nearly 2,000 of you on at the moment, and apologies from both of us if we're not making much sense here. It's hard to kind of put your thoughts because it's just a big blur. Matthew is saying something I agree with. Respect the Aussies, we know what we are doing. Tom talking about the Champions League, hopefully give a proper good account of ourselves against the very best. Who ate all the pies? Down to a man, we were superb today. Even the ball boys has a great game. Good to hear Morelos getting in touch. Jason Lee, Hamish wanted the same intensity as seen in the February derby. Wish granted, 100%. We played with with the atmosphere was incredible. Rangers just couldn't deal with us at all. Terry wanted to pick out Jens. Jens was excellent from his first touch off the bench. I'd agree with that. And Michael picking out Greg Taylor. Taylor is as strong as anyone now. Some final comment of the day before we go and enjoy ourselves.
Just everyone should be going out enjoying themselves. It
doesn't get any better.
It does not get any better. It's an exciting time I can remember. Like I keep saying, as a Celtic fan, we've got so much more to look forward to. Just enjoy the day and let's look forward to what should be probably one of the special nights on Tuesday night. And what a way to go into it with a 4-0 gubbing.
It's only Tuesday as well. I mean, tomorrow's Sunday.
It's not long now.
It's going to be amazing. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to. Probably going to have a couple of beers. Probably going to head up the road and rewatch the game about 18 times because it was totally magic. We'll say goodbye for now. If you have just come across us for the first time, please give us a sub because that is really appreciated. Back tomorrow and we should have a wee interesting video for you, especially if you're an Aussie. So keep an eye out for that. We'll speak to you then.